Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello everyone. My name is Abdul Karim alias. Welcome to this series, Crafting the Next Gen Learner Experiences. In this series, I'll be sharing some of my approaches that I use in the classroom or online, and where I take the role as a learning designer to design my classroom and design the learning activities that would engage the students and to develop the memorable, to give them the memorable, unforgettable learning experiences. So let me start by looking at, by starting at from the end in mind. What kind of graduates or the talent we want to produce from our education system that would serve the nation as the future nation builders. There's a lot of discussion in the media. It's almost endless discussion on the issue of the quality of the graduate that we want to nurture and we want to develop, and that will come out from the education system and be able to serve as a nation builders. So this is a point to ponder. For example, this from a quote from Michael Bloomberg here, a former mayor of New York City. He said a university's obligation is not to teach students what to think, but to teach students how to think. If students graduate with ears and minds closed, the university has failed both the student and society. So this is actually a strong words from Michael Bloomberg. And this is something that I think we need to really ponder, especially as educators in the context of education. How do we play our role? How do we design the curriculum and deliver the curriculum? How do we design the, our classroom in such a way that we can develop the kind of quality and attributes that we want in our future talent? In the book by Tony Wagner, the futurist, in his book, The Global Achievement Gap, he listed so-called seven survival skills for the 21st century. And on the top of the list is critical thinking and problem solving, collaboration across networks and leading by influence, agility and adaptability, initiative and entrepreneurship, effective oral and written communication, accessing and analyzing information, and curiosity and imagination. When we look at this list of skills, this is not only relevant actually in the 21st century, but it's also previously in the previous centuries as well. But maybe these are the skills that now become even more critical, even more relevant, especially now and also in the future in the era of fourth industrial revolution or industry 4.0 and the era of artificial intelligence, a smart machine and so on. These are the skills that would even more critical that need to be developed and mastered in our graduates. And when we look at the World Economic Forum and they look at uh, the kind of future talent that we want to develop to compete, with that for the environment that will become more competitive, where the machine probably would take over many of the jobs that currently being done by human. So these are the so-called beyond the three R's, the new skills the world is looking for: the leadership skill, the digital literacy, communication, emotional intelligence, and also the on in addition to this social intelligence, entrepreneurship, global citizenship, problem solving, and team working. So these are some of the so-called critical skills of the future. And of course, there are other kind of skill in addition to that. Learners will need a so-called new literacies in this digital era. They need to be more eloquent communicator to differentiate themselves from others. They have to be They need to be self-motivated and self-directed. They need to be able to develop the social networking in terms of identity management, privacy maintenance, creating original content. So we expect them to be able to create content, to contribute content to the internet rather than just using it as consumers. Managing and curating content, reusing and repurposing, and also to learn the net ethics. So in the future, we need to nurture the graduates, the talents, and become inventor, the innovator, creative entrepreneur, change maker, game changer, or groundbreakers, and also social innovator. So we all this kind of skill, a range of skill, critical skill that we want to develop. How do we now take the role in the context of educator? How do we take the role or change our role or transform our role as from the ordinary kind of teacher-centered environment to become a learning designer in our classroom? So this is what my focus is on this series, crafting the next gen learner experiences, to share some of my kind of approach that I believe probably would contribute towards developing and nurturing the kind of graduate attributes that we want to have. That would be kind of always kind of future ready, or some people call it future proof. So in this context, I would like to share um, what one of my the learning activities that I do in a classroom. So this is what we call this activity is called roundtable discussion. This is actually group work. The students in my course, they are given about 8 weeks to prepare for this roundtable discussion. They are given the example of how to conduct a roundtable discussion, and then they will form a group and they are given a topic, they are assigned a topic, and I will let the group to work together to discuss about the best approach, how they want to present the topic. So they have to do some research. They have to work in a team. They have to kind of agree. They have to be able, they have to appoint a leader that would kind of coordinate the whole activity. And the leader will assign the work for each of the member, and they will come together and discuss, and they will agree on the points that they want to share. They have to discuss on the check the source of the information, the credibility of the source, the accuracy of the facts, and so on. And then they have to rehearse how to do the presentation. So there's a lot of processes involved behind the scene, and the whole process is where they get opportunity to develop those skills within the 8 weeks that they are doing this group discussion before they present it to the class. So when they come and present, the whole session was recorded, because after the program or after the presentation, they will be able to view the video. So the recorded session will be uploaded to the YouTube, and I will ask the group also to watch their presentation so that they can learn how they perform during the presentation and how they can improve further in the future based on the feedback that we gave them after the presentation. Then during the presentation, or before the presentation actually, each all the students in the group, in the class, are given the rubric. So they have actually this rubric to prepare. They can see how they will be evaluated and how they will be assessed, and they can use the rubric actually to prepare for the presentation so that they know what exactly they are looking for when we assess the whole roundtable discussion. So based on this rubric also, during the presentation in the class, all the students are required to vote on using the online tool, which I will be showing shortly. So every student actually are given the responsibility to listen to the roundtable discussion, and then based on the rubric, they will give the score to to the group. So we kind of I I teach them how to take the responsibility to honestly evaluate their team, their colleagues, so that they learn how to look at the different aspects of the presentation and use their own judgment based on the rubric, and then give the appropriate score to the group. So based on the rubric, I set up the voting system using the application called Mentimeter. So this is what they see on their phone. They just use their phone, so they will see this the different the different aspects of the presentation based on the rubric just now: topic, content, accuracy, delivery, or presentation and preparedness. And then using the Mentimeter tool, which is a free application, they will give the score accordingly. And then they will see the result in real time on the screen in the classroom. On the screen, they will see the results of their votes. So here you can see 48 students in the class has voted, and then there is a score which everyone can see. And I will take about maybe 20 or 30% from this, and then add to my own score to the group. So in this way, actually, I'm giving them the responsibility to do their own assessment to their own peers. So this kind of peer feedback or peer assessment that we can develop. So the whole process, if you look at from the point of view of crafting the next the learning experience to the students, what happened here when we look at education as a process to deliver the curriculum, to impart knowledge, to inculcate skill, and to instill values. All these three things actually can be designed into the class activity, into the learning activities. And then during the whole process, from the preparation until the delivery of the roundtable discussion, the students has actually learned about a topic very deep, because they really go into it. They do some research, and they do a lot of reading and so on. Then they try to make sense of the information. They check for the credibility of the source. So the whole range of the Bloom taxonomy, actually, from the low level to the highest level of cognitive kind of domain, will be developed here. And then in terms of the skill, they learn to do the teamwork. They learn leadership skill, the communication skill. They have to agree during this, when they have to learn how to do discussion, how to conduct discussion, how to respect each other, how to agree to agree. They have to critically think about the points, and they read when they discuss and so on. So the whole process of planning and designing and organizing the whole thing, all this range of skill they will learn in the process. And of course, the values can be integrated in the whole process in terms of the team spirit, tolerance, respect, honesty, responsibility, and the ownership. So this basically, if we spend time and thoughtfully create the activities that will provide the very rich, memorable, meaningful, and impactful learning experience, there's a lot actually we can do and we can achieve uh, using a simple design of simple activity, and using a simple tools that we can use and we can combine together. The whole process can be very seamless, and the bottom line is we can achieve all these attributes. And imagine if we have a series of activities like this in different courses and so on for in the whole curriculum. There's no way we fail. We will fail to produce, to produce a graduates, a talent that can really serve as a future nation builders. So that's all about my presentation in this video. I hope you will get some ideas and the benefit from this. Thank you for listening.